You asked, we listened. Welcome to the new Final Scoop podcast. If this is your first time here, thank you so much. We're a podcast that discusses the ins and outs, the trends, the highs and lows of the fitness, supplement industry, anything else of the like. I am joined by Lucas Rytkowski of Prometheus Intelligence, as well as Robik Samborski, the man, the myth, working towards legend behind Apollo Nutrition. We hopefully will have a fourth person soon, but he's probably still getting his beauty sleep. And I am your host, Sean, of the SuppTalk radio podcast. Just a quick housekeeping. There may be some colorful language used on the show here. So if you've got kids at distance, you might want to listen at a later date. Gents, how we doing? I'm so excited.
Hell yeah, man. It's great to be back, and thanks for reaching out to us. And most of all, thanks for believing in us. And
Yeah,
it's good to have you on board, because due to some major issues with Robert, we had to split. uh it's nothing bad. There was not no any bad blood between us, but he's a type of a guy that stays away from social media. He always focuses on his job. So we respect that. We value his friendship, and we reached out to him plenty of times. We asked if he will be willing to give it another try and do a show with us, but he decided to just move on and focus on his job. So we said, okay, fine, that's good. And for like I don't know, maybe a year, I was pushing Robic and Shane to do a show and go back on track. But you know how it goes with them, especially with Shane, who's super busy. Robic is also busy with his business, so there wasn't any time, and there was an opportunity. I pulled some strings, and here we are, back on the live.
Yes.
yeah. Happy New Year, everyone. And yeah, I mean, Lucas is right. It's been very very tough to get. I mean, I tried to do Hooligan Chronicles, the podcast as well, and sometimes I would join Sean for his podcast, which I really really enjoy. And but mostly it's the schedule is very very tough. I mean, don't forget that when we were doing the final scoop, it was during COVID times where people were mostly at home. So this was a very good time to kind of like basically discuss different issues. And in my opinion, the final scoop was always arguably the only podcast where you could say anything, express your opinion. We often didn't agree with one another, which I think made it only better. We would interview different people from different companies, brands, and whatnot, which made it also very, very fun for everyone. And but I think the main thing is the fact that we never planned anything. There was never a script. There was never we didn't know like which direction the show is going to go. But now, of course, with travel, Shane is on the road all the time. I travel quite a bit, and it's not very easy. So it's hard to stay consistent, especially on a weekly basis. But nevertheless, even if we can try and do it once a week, once every 2 weeks or whatever, I think that the fans of the podcast will appreciate it. And to me, it was a very humbling experience to be. I remember when finally we met in person with Lucas at the Arnold Classic 2 years ago, year and a half ago. It was very surreal to see people in England approaching us and asking when the final scoop is going to be back. And, they enjoyed the show and they enjoyed, interacting with us. And I didn't even know that so many people watched and were interested. So that's kind of, I think the demand is there. Not saying that we have millions of viewers or anything like that, but it's not about that. It's just basically couple of guys getting together on a weekly basis whenever they can. Maybe sometimes it's not all four of us, all three of us, and just talking, discussing. It can be as short as 30 minutes. It can be as long. We've done, I think, once there was almost 3 hours. Unless there is a time limitation for one of us, we just enjoy the conversation, various topics ranging from supplement industry to just any bullshit like McDonald's or something, and it's still fun. It's just it's a Saturday afternoon. I mean, at least here, and for Lucas it's evening time, and for Shane it's early in the morning Sunday. But we're just getting together on the weekend and just having fun.
That's it. And if folks are watching this live on YouTube, there is a comment box. Put anything in there. We'll do our best to address it, good, bad, or different. There is pretty much nothing off topic with us. We're all straight shooters. You may agree, disagree with our answers, but at the end of the day, as Robert said, it's just 3 or 4 guys having fun, just educating and helping each other.
Yeah, on my iPad, I don't get to see the questions right now. I'm gonna get a computer. Mine is fucked. So, guys, any questions that come through, just announce them, and we'll answer. If there's something directed at me, just let me know.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, so we got some good followers, just people checking in. Maria saying hello. We've got a James Gray saying good afternoon. Chris Scotto of the Gym Guys podcast checking in, saying hello. But Lucas, go ahead, please.
Yeah, it's good to see some members. I recognize some of the names here, and it's good like I said, it's good to be back. Happy New Year to all of you guys out there, and hopefully it will be a great year for all you guys out there. I just want to just say that the show is about being positive, staying positive, and just like spreading the good word about the industry and so on. But of course, if we will see some bullshit, we will call it out. And I'm a type of a guy that I'm a straight shooter. So if I see something that is just like that pissing me off, I'm just gonna say it straight away. So just don't bother. I see what I can see, and yeah, today is gonna be that kind of a show that I'm gonna be super honest, and unbiased. So yeah, you can count on that.
So, as I've said in some of the posts, friends are going to be lost and feelings are going to be hurt. But hey, tough shit.
Listen, if you're not honest, then it doesn't mean a shit.
It's funny. I'm not gonna say who it is, but somebody actually reached out to me and said, "Oh my God," he said, "Should I be worried?" I mean, it's not about Lucas is again. I agree with what he said. It's not about attacking anyone. It's never about that. And sometimes people kind of setting themselves to be attacked in the first place, because we've seen many times in the industry where things are kind of said behind each other's backs. And, sometimes somebody will say something stupid or offensive or something that is not true, and nobody's going to call that out. Nobody. But then I will get a text message saying, "Oh my God, it's not true." They will talk shit about a certain person that deserves to be talk shit about, but they're not going to say anything to him in person. They will say it behind his back. And some people, of course, we know how to keep secrets. And if somebody is going to reach out to us in confidence, we're not going to go out and bash him or say what he said privately, especially if it was confidential. It's not about that. But the thing is that what I'm honestly kind of turned off by is that sometimes I will get and especially when we were running the final scoop previously, I would very often say something, or Lucas would say something, or Robert, or whoever, and we would say something live, and then I would get a message or DM, "Oh my God, you're so right. I'm glad you said it." Well, nobody stops you from saying it. I mean, you could have said exactly the same thing, especially if it's true. Nobody's trying to make up shit. Nobody's trying to lie. I try my best to, whenever I say something, I will either add it's my opinion, which obviously I'm entitled to, or it will be something that is backed by concrete facts. Otherwise, I will not say anything that I'm not sure. And even in our conversations that sometimes we have in our group messages, if you notice, I will say something like, "I could be wrong," which means I'm not sure about it, because, I'm stating something that I think it's true, but it might not be. So it's not that hard to tell the truth if you really want to. And if somebody is asking you, then either answer honestly or say no comment, which again, you're entitled to. But I think the problem with the industry, possibly with many other industries or most industries, is the lack of honesty. We're saying something that is complete bullshit, and everybody knows it's bullshit, but we're still saying it, which makes absolutely no sense to me. At least it doesn't make sense to me. I was just scrolling through Instagram, and something that is very, very common. I stumbled on some supplement store. To be honest with you, I don't even know who they are, but for some reason they've been popping up a lot in the last couple of days, and they've been promoting the same pre-workout. Again, it doesn't matter which pre-workout, it doesn't matter which supplement store, it's completely irrelevant. But they've been heavily, heavily promoting that pre-workout. Now, I don't know if it's a house brand and they're pushing their own product, or maybe it's somebody that gave them a great deal. I looked at the supplement facts, and I mean, it's a pre-workout. It's not shit, but it's not, by any means, it's not great. It's just a pre-workout. And then the last post today, it said, without a doubt or something like that, the strongest pre-workout ever released. Ever released. I mean, you clearly lying, like clearly. Anyone who, you don't even have to be an expert, but if you know anything about the supplement industry, it's obvious it's a lie, And then I looked at the supplement facts, and I'm like, you're not even a top 10. You're probably not even a top 20. An argument could be made you're not even top 50 or 100, but you saying it with such strong statement, clearly lying. You know you're lying. People that are reading this, they know you're lying. I mean, I didn't comment on it, but probably should have, just didn't bother with it. But the thing is that, we're so used to it by now. We're so used to it. And it seems like there is nobody out there who is, calling this bullshit. And I think, bullies, liars, they will continue to do what they do until you stop them, until you call them out. And that's the only way. If you want to make, if your house is dirty, you go and you clean it. That's the only way, because guess what? It's only going to get dirtier. It's never going to get better. The dishes are not going to wash themselves. I mean, we have dishwashing machines today, but you still have to put the dishes in them. You have to do something. Like, unless you make certain moves, nothing's going to happen. Because then what happens is behind each other's backs, we will call a friend and we'll say, oh my God, he's such a liar. Okay, but how about you say it to him directly, to his face, or you call him out? That you're not going to do. Well, guess what? You're encouraging him to continue on the same path of lying. Nothing's going to change. So I think that's the reason why people like the Final Scoop so much, and that it had such a good following. And, when we announced that it's coming back, people were happy about it, because it's always there is need for something like that in every industry.
See, I almost feel like years ago when you did the Final Scoop, game changer was the term of the year or whatever it was. It's game changer. I feel now the term best is the new term, but as we know, best is it's debatable. I mean, let's be honest here. What you think is your best car is going to be different from what I think. What you think is the best this is different, but it's debatable. I think the best is another term that should just be wiped. But I get it as an owner of a product, whatever it is, you're going to say it's the best.
Well, yes, I mean, I'm guilty of that as well. I've said numerous times best, but I always try, at least I try to the best of my ability, to make sure that I point out in what category it's best or why it's best. Try to explain it, because you can say best to pretty much anything. Best, you're right. I absolutely agree. You can say best, but best in what? Best, best pump, best
You can say
energy. Explain it.
Robbie, but you can always say best for you.
Yeah. Oh,
if you create something or you like something, you can always say, this is the best pre-workout or best product for me, for my individual preferences. So when someone is making his opinion, let him state, that's just me. That's my personal opinion. But when someone is saying publicly, this is the best shit ever released, then it's like fucking bullshit, man.
Oh, but Robert, in all fairness, without stroking your
well, that's quite an entrance.
But without stroking your ego, Robert, you can validate or ready to validate your terms or claims. you go ahead and call out, not you, but people in general, you call out a brand. Okay, there's the best, and you ask them why is it the best, and they can't give you a true. Well, it's transparent. Okay, great.
Well, I'll
here's
give you a perfect example. A couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago or something like that, we released a product, and I think it was Bloodsport. So maybe 2 years ago, I think it was Bloodsport, and Bloodsport is loaded. I mean, it's absolutely fucking loaded. There are no questions about it. And somebody made a comment. About another brand and said, well, that brand is better. And I remember looking up at the supplement facts at the formula. I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And sometimes, but you have that with different brands. You have brand ambassadors. You have people that working for certain brands or sponsored by certain brands. They come on anyone's post and say, well, this is better. This is a game changer. Or for example, when Shane posts something like a protein wars, right? And somebody will make a comment, and it's very, very often where they will say, well, for example, of course, oh, Muscle Tech, no competition. Well, there is competition. There's definitely competition. And especially when it comes to protein, it's so subjective because it's, what can you judge it on? Taste? That's pretty much it. We can sit here and all three of us can pick the best tasting protein, and we're going to be right. In our individual rights, we're going to be right. And yesterday I talked to somebody who said that he absolutely loved Assassin, but it's too strong for him. So he uses only half a scoop because Assassin, so a full serving of Assassin is clearly not the best pre-workout for him because it's way too strong. And he doesn't like that feeling. But then, you ask somebody like Lucas, and he's going to say, well, one scoop of Assassin, okay, it's no big deal. It's not really.
It's light.
It's fine. For him, it's a daily driver. And nobody is wrong. So all these, I'm glad to see the awards for best pre-workout. And maybe it has something to do with the final scoop. Because remember, Lucas, we called out that fucking best pre-workout award, which was ridiculous. And everybody had a best pre-workout. Everybody. And thankfully, lately I don't see it much. Like I will see even, TJ, right? TJ has top 5 or top 10. And he's not going to put them in groups, which one is best. He will say, well, these are my top 5 or top 10 in no particular order. And I like that. Because those are the top products according to him. And I absolutely love that because that's the way it should be. And I'm pretty sure the three of us have our own best pre-workout that works for us. And that's the way it should be. So, saying that something is best, it's very, very tricky. It's very subjective.
Yeah. Lucas, agree or disagree?
I fully agree with what Robbie said, so, let's keep going with the show, Hopefully Shane will join because I think he has some
some issues.
Yeah, Shane's playing like whack-a-mole here, up and down, in and out, in and out.
Yeah,
So I know we talked a lot about it on our private group here, but let's just quickly go over the whole sour strips controversy here with Nutrabio and Ghost and our good old friend Ben at Price Plow. I know, Lucas, you had some choice words. I don't know if you want to open the floor here.
Robbie, you want to start or let me?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I wasn't like following the story at all, but when you posted the whole thing on our private chat, I was, I went to the Instagram and tried to find out what was going on. So I first saw the post that, the bus driver did. And it looks so funny to me, at first. And then I was like, okay, let's see what the child molester has to say. So, so I decided to just listen. But I was like, fuck, man, this guy is full of shit, and he's just trying to like stir the pot and just like he wants to start a war, with the company that was his employer at first. And he said so much good things about Mark and so on. And now he's just like trying to pretend that he's like some kind of like, warrior in a shining armor, and he wants to educate people. Educating on fucking what? He's not educating people or anything at all. He just pretending to be a friend of Ghost, while at the same time he is just backstabbing Mark. And I think that what Mark did was just spectacular, and I fully respect that man. I reached out to him on the IG and also on Facebook, and I told him straight away, man, you did a fantastic job because you didn't anything wrong. You just didn't know. He is the CEO of the massive company, and he has so much people on his ship, and he's not controlling everyone, because each person has his own his own responsibilities. So he can't see everything. And I think that he just like missed this one, and he didn't know. And once he knew, he straight away started said it everything on his post. He made a public apology, and I think that the case should be closed. But of course, the price ball fuckers always try to stir the pot, and they always try to shame people. But like I said, that's not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. So for anybody, I'm sorry to cut you off, Rob. So if anybody that's not familiar here, Mark Glazer of Nutrabio was coming out with I believe it's a liquid L-carnitine, and was using a flavor called Sour Strips. Okay, did not get launched, but Sour Strip is a registered trademark to Max Chewing, which is affiliated with Ghost. Ghost got involved. Some shit was being slung, but at the end of the day, the product was not launched. Mark admitted his mistake. All is said and done, but of course, he had to be dragged through the water. But Robert, go ahead and contribute, please.
Well, I mean, it's pretty much what Lucas said. The thing is that it's really, what we always trying to, I mean, not me really, but generally people like to make a big deal out of nothing. This is not that case. When I saw it, and I obviously, got shitload of links and messages, and I thought fucking World War III broke down or something like that, because that made no sense to me. I tried to see what was the big deal about, I mean, what happened. And in reality, nothing happened. I mean, literally nothing happened. And
because product was even not released.
The product was not even released. It was a mistake. I know that we had a pollen for almost, I mean, I know that we are only known for a couple of years, but Apollo's been around for almost 9 years. And in 9 years, I made shitload of mistakes. It's just, you can't not have any business without making mistakes. Mistakes happen, and they can happen to a smaller guy. They can happen to a bigger guy. Those mistakes happen. It was an honest mistake, because there is no way that they would do it deliberately. It costs money. Now they're going to have to relabel each and every container. It's just one of those things. It's just one of those things that can happen. And that's exactly what happened. They're going to have to change the labels, and that's pretty much it. So obviously it wasn't deliberately. Dan from Ghost, I mean, I never had any issues with him personally, but I'll just say it. I mean, he's a drama queen. He likes to cause drama. He likes to exaggerate things. I mean, he's very proud of his brand, and he should be, because Ghost is a great brand that achieved a lot. You cannot not respect Ghost for what they've achieved in this space. They tremendous, and they've done some great innovations. They contributed a lot to the industry, I think, the development of the industry, and I think they're sort of leaders in certain aspects. So for that, I commend them, and I think they achieved something great, and I'm a fan of the brand. And I would be obviously defensive too when it came to my brand. But if somebody fucked up and came to me and apologized in as men should be, as any human should be, I'm not going to go on social media and blast that person and try to get, I guess, more publicity out of it and turn it into a whole fucking spectacle and a circus. I mean, we are men. I mean, I think that the definition of what being a man kind of is getting lost, and I see more and more bitches without sex change operations. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous that people would go online and start crying and bitching about something that didn't happen. I mean, I don't want to see, but I'm pretty sure some of them have vaginas instead of dicks, because men don't do it. Men go, they fuck up, they punch each other in the face if they can, and they done. It's over. You don't go online and you start crying and calling names and create a fucking spectacle and circus and a freak show. And then you have another platform that is getting paid by the first platform and trying to exaggerate it by saying that, oh, look, this is what should not be done. You don't need to tell me that it shouldn't be done. I know it shouldn't be done. I know it's a mistake. You're not teaching me anything new. I know if something is trademarked, you don't touch it. If you did touch it, you apologize, or maybe you're forced to pay through courts and whatnot. We all know how it works. But to go, I mean, it's your former employer that fired your ass, your former employer that used to pay you, and it used to call him your best friend. And just because the best friend doesn't pay you anymore, he automatically is no longer your best friend. If I have friends, I have my friends back. That's what I do. Even when they're wrong, I still try my best. I will tell them, listen, you fucked up, but I'm going to try my best to help a friend if he's a true friend. But just because you stop paying me, you don't automatically stop being my friend. I don't do that. And I don't try to exaggerate. I always wanted to ask, I'm pretty sure if Nutrabio fucked up, Apollon fucked up as well. Many companies fucked up. And I'm pretty sure at one point or another, Ghost fucked up. If Ghost fucked up, would Ben attack Ghost? I mean, we all know the answer to it. It's a no. He would go out of his way to defend them. So it's sad to see it. It's sad to see it. And you know what? I'm not surprised that it happened. What does surprise me is the number of people that commenting and sucking dick and making a big deal out of nothing. That what surprised me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shane Smith has joined the show. Shane, are you alive? Are you there?
Can you hear me? I'm not like broken up or anything.
Yeah.
We've got you loud and clear.
Well, my headphones were like, they connected, and then I went in, and I'm like, motherfucker, I can't hear anyone. And then I went to, then I turned it out, checked back in, did the tests, still couldn't hear anyone.
Sean also had some audio problems.
Wow,
so if anybody from Bose or JBL or anybody wants a sponsorship, send some stuff to Shane, please. So what's next on the agenda here, folks?
I just want to say one more thing in regards to Ghost and Nutrabio. Everything would be handled in just one phone call.
That's what we're talking about.
If Dan would call Mark and just say straight, what are you doing? And just like that, owner talks with another owner about a product that's not been released, not yet, but there is a mistake that needs to be handled. And why Dan is even involving, because I know he's probably is involving, like, please pay company to this whole situation, because we all know that this fucking sub bouncer, is bouncing one company after another, and it's like this whole situation is just laughable to me.
I'll disclose this. In 9 years of Apollon existence, it happened 3 times that another company did something that we did. So they were in violation, and we had to reach out to them. Not once did I go on social media and say who it is. In fact, one of them has become a very, very good friend of mine. Very good friend of mine. And all we did, no threats, no bad mouthing, no nothing. Just reached out to them and said, like, listen, guys, you know what? Maybe you didn't see it, maybe you didn't notice it, but we kind of have it, you kind of fucked up. In all 3 cases, they apologized. In all 3 cases, everything was resolved, no issues whatsoever. And like I said, 2 of them I'm okay with. and one of them has become a very, very good friend of mine. And that's when you do a thumbs up, it shows up, it pops up. Yeah.
Oh, god damn it! Here we go again.
So
Robert's got
it's not a
rainbows
big
coming out
deal.
of his ass in a minute.
Yeah.
You can do a heart or something like that.
No,
It
just one
also
thing.
goes.
I tried this morning to do this; it doesn't work. But yeah, one of them became a very, very good friend, and it's not a big deal. These things can happen; they will continue to happen in this industry. Yes, I mean you fucked up because you didn't look it up, and it happened to us. And Shane actually knows about this. Something that I didn't look up. You know that it happened to Paul as well. We
Oh
messed
yeah.
up. Yeah, we
Yes,
messed
I
up
remember that.
once too. And the person, another company, reached out actually to Shane. Shane reached out to me. He didn't go publicly with that, even though he has the platform to break the news. He didn't go publicly. He was a friend who reached out to a friend and said, "Listen, you kind of fucked up." I was like, "Oh shit!" We reached out to the person. It cost us, and we were not sued or anything like that, but it cost us obviously a little bit of inconvenience, and problem resolved. I mean, it happens. It happens. You don't go and you don't fucking bash people, especially when somebody fucking posts on social media and apologizes. You're creating drama out of nowhere to get, to reach out to your sponsor and say,
Views.
like, listen, we have your back. We are cool. Pay us more.
Hey, how is it called nowadays? Cloud chasing or what? Something like that. I'm not an expert, so I don't know.
I will say I've had a lot of those not a lot. No, I'd say a lot of infringement stories. It's not me. So products that I've shared that have then been taken down by I mean, we get serious ones. We get like letters from the license holders, not the brands. And they'll like take off the image from my site, take down the page from my site, go on Instagram, remove the images like via Instagram. They go hard, man. So good on them for protecting their interests. I think it's fun.
So Shane, I know we're creeping quick. We're 2 months out from the Arnold here. How's everything wrapping up with
Yeah.
the stack section? Let's talk about that for a minute.
I believe the brands are going to be announced, like forcibly announced, because the way they work is I don't know if you've seen the floor plan on the Arnold website. So they have when that was released, all the brands exhibiting were released basically, except us. I told them to make it blank, to give them time to announce their participation. But I was able to get until January. So I would say within the next few days, all those little boxes in the stacked area are going to be flipped over, and they'll have them revealed on the floor plan. So I think
Shane, so how many brands you were able to get on board?
we put a cap because our limitation is so our deadline is earlier than the rest. Like if you came in to the Arnold the week before, you might better get. I mean, I don't actually think they're going to have space, but if they had space and if you came in, they could set you up within the week prior. But for our area, you have to have things kind of booked, reserved, printed. The setup's all different. So we've had to we don't have time to add anybody late. So we've submitted our final group of 25 to 30, somewhere around there. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head.
That's a decent amount considering, the
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Yeah, 25. But there are a few that are there that we helped sort of get to the show that aren't in the stacked area. But yeah, it's going to be pretty badass.
And I'm
Should be a lot of
assuming
fun.
I'm assuming it's a mix of brands from US and other parts of the world, right?
We have a couple internationals. Well, international. I'm not counting Canada in that group. Canada is technically international, but they're just up there. So it's like there's I don't know. I think there's 2 or 3 Canadians maybe. There's 2 from the UK. I think maybe 1 from the UK. I can't remember off the top of my head now. Obviously, a lot of US. But for a lot of these brands, a lot of them, this will be the first time they've done a show.
That's cool.
Not just, there's a lot of them that haven't done a expo, especially the Arnold of all the places.
Oh yeah, man.
So,
Shane, what's a difference? The main difference between Arnold USA and UK for you? I mean, you know what I mean in terms of how many brands you have, or
the UK, they wanted to do the stacks. Well, they asked if the stack section was possible, and I was, because the Arnold UK before this one was handled by someone else. It wasn't them. I think they licensed it. I don't really know the way it worked, but it wasn't the same organizers. Moving into this year, they've taken back control. That's why it's now shifted to like a new date. And they're like, I didn't think it would be worth doing like a specialty section unless I knew there were going to be a shitload of supplements. I didn't want it to be like 10 supplement brands and then we'll do a special stack section that had like 9 of them. That didn't make any sense. So I wanted to wait till there were like a lot. But this year at the Arnold US, that house is going to be packed. I believe they got like record numbers of exhibitors or something. The floor space is just, loaded. A lot of big ones, a lot of small ones, a lot of medium ones.
Is it the same? Is it the same venue as last year, or are they moving to a different one?
As far as I know, it's
the same venue, I believe.
Yeah, same venue, but they shift things around. So like they'll do to make more space, like they might have a sport at the convention center to make more room. They might shift that sport to somewhere else in town. So like that way they can have more things happening in one area. I think they're talking about potentially expanding, but I think this would be the first year in a long time that it's going to be like jam packed. You know, you can't breathe. You have to walk down the aisle sideways because everyone's all and the toilet's all like yellow and dirty because all the jack dudes are taking shits. That's
Just
what
like
we're looking
Fibo.
at, man.
Just like
Man,
Fibo.
that's what, fake tan all over the toilet seat. That's what we're at.
And of course, it's going to be killing because there's a 2-time stack champion going to be there with their booth for the very first time.
Yeah, the one and only.
It's actually, to be honest with you, I'm a little bit nervous because we've never done ever, Arnold or the Olympia or anything like that. So even logistics and how to move everything and how to do it, I've thank God for Carolina, because she's basically, I asked her, I said, can you be in touch with Shane and just handle it? I said, I don't want anything to do with it. But honestly, I'm excited. And it's something very, very cool. And as soon as I heard that Stacked is involved and running it, I mean, that was no brainer that, we have to do it. And I'm glad we do. To be honest with you, I would do the UK too. I still plan on going to UK. It just would be very, very complicated. And because Carolina received her green card only last year, she still can't travel overseas because she's waiting for the travel document, which is like a passport for green card holders. And I was like, you know what? If I'm not sure that she has it and she can go, there is no way I'm gonna go. So she's still waiting for it. So it can arrive any minute. But knowing these situations, it can come beginning of the year. It can come in the mail sometimes in 6 months. So that's the reason why I will definitely travel. I also want to go to Fibo. How is Fibo shaping up to be?
Oh man, it's gonna be.
I've heard some good things. Yes. I have booked that. I just booked my flights. I'm actually going to the Arnold UK via New Jersey. So it's from I'm in New Jersey for like 5 days before flying, and then we go to New York, New Jersey, and then there's a flight that I leave on the Tuesday or the Wednesday.
Yeah, there is a direct flight from New York, I think. Yeah.
I mean, there's a direct flight to the UK, but to get to Birmingham, it's a little shitty.
Yeah,
Gypsy City.
I think I flew through Switzerland, but I think there is also
Yeah,
Holland. There's
I
possibility.
saw those flights. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Why would I fly over the UK to then go back to the UK? It doesn't make any. I'm
Yeah.
going through Ireland. There's a flight that gets me
Yeah.
to Ireland, and then that goes to Birmingham.
After
No train.
after Birmingham, I mean, what's the difference? What is it, like 2-3 weeks until Fibo?
Yeah,
Yeah, Fibo
I'm,
is
I'm
13th of
yeah,
August.
It's a month.
I'm pissing around from in the UK. I think I've got about 5 different cities I need to visit in the UK. I'm also going to Emmen, and Sweden. There's a couple. Finally, getting my trip to the land of functional deliciousness, and then eventually, I think I should stumble into Fibo. So yeah, I think it's like the week of the 10th or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Isn't Fibo though, and educate me, isn't Fibo like less on the supplements, but more on like the clothing and more the industry in general, and less on the supplements?
Everything.
But it's like wings upon wings, right? Like 3 times.
If
the
you're
size.
talking like if this is the sandwich, and then you've got
Okay.
supplements, equipment, fitness, like yeah, the supplement makes up a little bit, but you have to understand that little bit is the size of the Arnold, if not bigger, at its best.
Right.
So it's like, and that's all supplements. Every German in his house makes his way out there. Lucas drives across hills and snow and mountains, and
Yeah.
it's the best.
I was there once, I think 2016 or maybe 2017, I'm not sure. And I was there for 4 days. And because I think they have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday or something like that. And I can honestly say that I did not cover even half of it. It was just not possible. And I was exhausted. It's a lot. I mean, put it this way, at its best days, Arnold and Olympia, they were packed. I remember, especially early 2000s, it was just ridiculous. But never have I seen anything like Fibo. It's just not even close. Even, this year's Arnold, I know it promises to be one of the biggest ever. And I know it's going to be a fracture of what Fibo is at its best, because Fibo is just, like I said, it was just not possible to cover the whole thing. It's
Sean,
impossible. You need a week probably.
Sean, last year I had meetings in like 3 different halls. So I had to move from one hall to another one, and another one to another one, and back and forth, right? So I did around 40,000 steps just by walking through one hall to another one and so on, So you just can imagine, the amount of people down there is just crazy, But, from what I've heard, this year is going to be big because all the German brands decided to participate in the show. And once the bigger, German brands wants to join the show, it only means one thing: crowd's gonna be crazy, man. So if someone is thinking about going to Fibo, I suggest to book a ticket right away.
I was on the fence.
When I think Apollon was like a year or 2 years old, and absolutely no even vision or aspirations to go anywhere, further than Apollon Gym. But I decided to take a trip anyway because I heard so much, and because I'm a nerd and I love research, I was like, why not? I went there, and again, it wasn't even a business trip. It was more like a research and just a fun trip for 4 days, and that's it. And I remember going there, and I knew one Russian distributor, and again, it wasn't through supplements. It was more through bodybuilding, through friends. But he was buying a lot of stuff, and when I say his name, Lucas probably gonna go, I know exactly who it is. Because Lucas, how long you been with Prometheus?
13 years now.
Okay, so you definitely know. As soon as I'm gonna say the name, you're gonna know who it is. So I met with that Russian distributor, again, not supplements, not business related. And he goes to me, I gotta introduce you to Prometheus. And I'm like, who? He goes to me, oh, they distributor. Like, I have nothing to do with it. And he goes, oh, you have badass supplements. We had like 3 products. And I was like, so the funny thing is actually I got to talk to somebody at Prometheus, and he was very, very nice. And I remember Prometheus had this amazing booth, absolutely amazing, and everybody was dressed the same. It was very, very nice, and it was so polite. And actually, somebody talked to me about the supplements in Europe, and again, I don't remember who it was, but the company from Russia, Lucas, was Victory. So you definitely heard about them, because I know that they were doing a lot of business at that time. We're talking about 2016, 2017, 2015. I know they were buying a lot of from Prometheus and selling in Russia.
Yeah. Good old days.
Shane, so to end on that, though, you got to take a lot of credit, Shane, because I know some of the brands that are coming, and this is a first time for them. So, you know, take it as a kudos to you, brother. Just kind of stroking your ego here, because, you know, you're pulling a lot more clout than you think you are.
Oh, it's gonna be a good time. We did the executive list as well, which Sean is on. It's like a list of basically representatives, individuals, companies that are there to support the exhibitors. So like distributors, buyers, retailers, kind of like some couple media people, but the whole purpose was that we try and give back to the exhibitors. And when we put the word out there, I think there's a distributor from Puerto Rico on there. There's a couple retailers from throughout the US that are just like, oh, me and my husband run a store attached to this gym, and we like bringing in new products and snacks. And I was like, great that you want to be there, but I'm like, how the hell did you fucking find me? How the hell did you even hear about this?
But
like you're reaching out. Yeah, I was like, this is weird. And it's, I mean, it's cool. I think the list capped out at 100. It's just sort of a test. So if it does well, again, anyone on that list gets to get in early, talk to the brands, the exhibitors before the crowd comes in, so they can, you know, maybe talk business, maybe talk distribution, offer what they can to the exhibitors, and then the rush of the intense bodybuilding fans take over the house.
Shane, are you offering like any of your services, like meeting rooms, or is that basically on the brand owner or the distributor?
Yeah, meeting rooms. It's the same thing as like a booth. You pay a certain amount for a booth. You pay a certain amount for a meeting room if you want to attach it. If you're like a bigger brand, sometimes they throw it in like, oh, I'm doing this here and this here. Oh, we can chuck this in as well. But all of the meeting rooms in the entire, I would say, main Columbus area, the Arnold in theory owns. So if you book one, whether or not it's through them, they know about it. So they know of absolutely everybody in attendance type thing.
If you guys had a crystal ball, would you think the Arnold will eventually overtake the Olympia, both from the event as well as the bodybuilding and the fitness side of things? Or do you think Olympia will always be one?
Already
They already did.
I think
so too.
I think in terms of like presentation, like that live webcast shit, god damn, that's a free live webcast for anyone anywhere in the world. That's a pretty cool thing. The expo, I from what I've heard, should be a step up
easily.
But then the only problem is the competition. I don't think, no matter how much money like they offer, I don't think it's going to be seen as like the Olympia is still like the world title type thing. I think it's like the Olympics versus the Commonwealth Games. Like it's just like it is just the world title, and the prestige, I think, of the Olympia's competition will be there, but everything else surrounding it, I think, will be Arnold's definitely taken a step forward.
I think for the past probably 10, 15 years, maybe even longer, as as a presentation, as a sports festival, as the expo, Arnold's been kicking Olympia's ass. I mean, easily. Also, don't forget that I think everything has to do with longevity in terms of I like the Olympia from 20, 30 years ago when they traveled from one city to another city all over the world. I thought that was very, very cool. And it was their thing. It was like their thing. And then they tried to have a model where everything is happening in Vegas. Now, not everybody can afford to go to Vegas. It's not that easy. And I think that didn't work, but they didn't last in Vegas for too long. When they had it at Mandalay Bay in Vegas, it was amazing. And then they had it only for, I believe, 2, maybe 3 years. And then Olympia got greedy and they decided to save money and they went to a shithole called the Orleans, which is a complete fucking shithole. Prostitutes and disgusting and dirty and smelly. It was just horrible. And they were there for fucking a decade or something like that. It was just terrible.
I stayed in that hotel.
It's terrible.
Like for my first 5 Olympias. Everyone kept telling me like, "You stayed in the whore hotel?" I was like, "I ain't seen any whores walking around. What are you talking about?" Like, I thought it was great.
I mean, that hotel is terrible. So I always believed, I mean, that's the old school model maybe that I have. I believe in evolution. I believe that things have to progress with time. And, that's the way we're trying to build upon also, like, little by little. And I think that Arnold was built exactly the same way, where they had it in Columbus initially, and they still have it in the same place. And they've been slowly, steadily building it up to be what it is today. And Columbus is, I mean, for most part, even people that are not following bodybuilding, because Arnold Classic is no longer just about bodybuilding. It's about everything. It's a sports festival. It's a legit sports festival. And I was just at the Olympia in Orlando, and I can tell you, I didn't go to the show. I just didn't give a fuck about the show. I literally went there for business, and business-wise, it was a great trip. But I went to the expo, and I was there for literally 15, 20 minutes, and I covered the entire expo. That's how small it was and how insignificant it was. And I remember reaching out to Shane, and I was like, there's like fucking 20 supplement companies in here, if that. It was just absolutely terrible. There was nothing to see. There's nothing to do. It was boring. To walk around, you walk around freely because there were no people. So I like how the Olympia is trying to present it, that it was sold out event. Of course it was a sold out event because you had it in a fucking small, tiny little room. You didn't have it like in a huge fucking, concert hall or something like that. You had it in a small, tiny room. It's very, very easy to sell out when you have something small. So it didn't even have a feel of this is like a Super Bowl of bodybuilding, kind of like you have the World Cup or something like that is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So Arnold took over. The only thing that Olympia does have over the Arnold Classic is, I think, Joe Weider and the prestige of having that's actually a world title in bodybuilding. So there is no other way around it. So it doesn't matter what the Arnold does. They can double or triple the money. It's still, the Arnold Classic is not going to have the same prestige in terms of winning it as the Olympia. That's never going to happen. But as a sports festival, as the expo, I mean, Olympia doesn't even come close.
Yeah, I just want to ask you this question because from brand perspective, from owner brand perspective, is it better to exhibit to Arnold or Olympia?
God, that's not even a question. Put it this way. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I have zero intention ever to exhibit at the Olympia, ever.
Yeah. Wow.
Even at the Arnold Classic, I was on the fence that I was considering all the time, like back and forth. But I mean, it's not cheap. We're talking about thousands of dollars to exhibit, and then you have to come obviously with a crew. I mean, you have to fly a few people or bring a few people. You obviously have to feed them, and you have to pay for their hotels, and you have to. I mean,
I have to feed them.
Yeah, it's an expense. It's an expense. It's
McDonald's.
Expense. Yeah, you have. I mean, Prometheus is gonna spend. Does Prometheus have a booth?
Where, at Fibo?
At Fibo.
I don't think so.
But Lars,
one more year.
Lars will cover all the expenses, right?
Yeah, of course, man. We always do.
So it's an expense. It's an expense to go to a show of that magnitude, especially when it's not in your backyard or anything like that. But for me, it was the fact that Stag's going to have its own section there. That was pretty much what tipped the scale, and there was no brainer that we have to be there. But Arnold, at least I entertained the idea, and I always knew that at least once we have to be there. Olympia, never going to happen. There's no need for it, and especially after what I saw now, even if they improve it, I know they bring it to Vegas and whatnot. There's no way they're going to improve it that much, and I don't think that there is that much interest. You're going to spend $20,000-$30,000 minimum on a shitty little booth, and to bring people over there, I mean, it doesn't pay. And you're still not going to be able to reach as many people as you will through social media these days, which you can reach people, all over the world. Or you have the Stacked Expo every year. You're probably going to reach a lot more people sitting at home and paying far less. I mean, it doesn't, I think that especially with today's economy and what's going on, I don't think that brands are going to be pissing money away. But this year, it is something special. It is something different. And I think that, like Sean said, part of it, of course, Shane, Stack's reputation. And I think that helps brands to make a decision towards doing it. But other than that, and, Arnold, again, will always be, for foreseeable future, Arnold's going to be more prestigious than Olympia in terms of the expo.
And just like you said earlier, that more people are more apt to go, I think, Columbus, because it's kind of more centralized to the U.S. versus going to Vegas.
Of course, flying to Columbus is easier. Driving to Columbus is easier. I mean, it's easy access, and it's better. And, I mean, I don't like to criticize any sports because I think it's very disrespectful. But when I went to the Olympia right now, they had obviously bodybuilding event, but at the expo, for example, at the Arnold Classic, they have different events like powerlifting or fighting or karate, and I think it's phenomenal. It's great. Mm-hmm. The only sport that I saw at the Olympia, do you know which sport was on the expo floor?
Slap fighting for women. Slap fitting.
I wish, because that's what people actually watch. I mean, as ridiculous as it is. No.
Judo.
Sumo.
Oh, I would have watched that.
I did too, with the other 3 people.
Was it normal? Was it like regular people, or was it like actual, like big, giant, like fat people with the undies and everything?
Both.
Oh, I would have seen that. I would have stopped for that.
So you had basically fucking people walking pretty much butt naked throughout the expo.
Yeah.
And everybody was making fun of them.
It's hanging.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Titties.
So
I'll watch that.
I did watch, like I said, for about 5 or 10
They do the leg up.
because
They
I
do
was
the
shocked.
the left leg and the right leg.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude. That is an experience. Kudos to them.
It was quite an experience. But it doesn't.
Oh, man. Yeah.
It didn't bring as many people as real martial arts, or a powerlifting or anything like that. A couple of people giggled and they walked away.
I feel like I would have put some money in a hat for that.
That was surreal.
I don't think the Arnold has sumo. I don't think so. I could be wrong. Maybe they do. I don't know.
I doubt. I mean, unless they pay.
Should the listeners get a GoFundMe page going for Lucas to join us at the Arnold this year?
UK. I'm gonna be in UK for the Arnold.
Oh yeah, you'll be in the UK.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
And Fibo, I'll be at Fibo.
And Fibo, of course. And then we are going to HQ.
Sorry, I'm going to HQ in a different time. So I mean, only because
whenever you're going, I'll be there.
Let me look. It's on my calendar because I'm flying to. It was easy. It was more efficient for me to go to Sweden and then Emmen at the same time. Okay. Well, not at the same time, but back because it was like, I think it was like $100-$200, and then it was you could catch Emmen on the way.
Mm-hmm.
Shane, both wife and daughter going? Both wife and your daughter going all over, or no? Going solo?
So they'll be at the Arnold. Ava's the one giving out my special edition T-shirts. She's adamant that she wants to give free T-shirts to people. She told them they would have to show their muscles for it. I don't know what that means, but we'll wait and see. And so, but then they fly back on the at the end, and then I'm visiting a couple brands in New York, visited a couple brands in Vancouver, then New Jersey, and then I go to the Arnold UK. Then I visit about 5 brands in the UK. I think like Alpha Neon's on the list, HR Labs. And then by the time I come back from Emin, they should be there in Manchester, I think is the order of events. And then we go, we're doing like there'll be a Fibo. And then we're going to, I believe, Japan, Morocco, and potentially Uzbekistan. Because why not?
You're going to grab some testosterone from Uzbekistan.
Uzbek Turk. I'll tell you, when I walk in, I expect to be when I walk down the streets. You know how they have like candy shelves at the convenience stores. I expect to see testosterone. Yeah,
it grows everywhere there.
Like instead of roses, I'll buy you a bouquet of Turk plant.
By the way, which date is Apollon seminar this year?
As of right now, we're trying to do it October 7th, I think, 5th or 7th.
Yeah, because you're clashing with the Olympia, right?
Olympia, I think, is 2 weeks later, 2 or 3 weeks, or a week later, maybe a week later.
I think it's a week later because NAX is the same week as the Olympia, and NAX is also in Vegas. So they're going to get a very nice runoff of industry people that will be there for NAX, because that's on like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then the Olympia is on Friday, Saturday. And NAX is like is ridiculously huge. Like it's like the Fibo, but for convenient. Actually, I would probably put this thing close to Fibo.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everything you need to open a convenience store. Like they have gas pumps in there for sale. Like you fill up your cars with gas, but they have them on this. Yeah, so it's the guys who make those. They have the entire thing on display in the show for you to see. And then they have like the hot, the fried chicken stands that they have in convenience stores. They have those to try. They had car washes in the bloody thing running, and you could see how they work. It was huge. And then in between them, you had Monster, Red Bull, Ghost was in there with Anheuser-Busch, EHP Labs, Bucked Up. You had a couple convenience store supplement guys, but that place was, it was 2 days, I think, 2-3 days, 2.5 days. But that's the 3 days prior to the Olympia. But you cannot get in unless you are part of the National Convenience Association or some shit, or you're a trusted media source like myself.
So, Rob, it's a 10 to the 13th, and if we all know you, you probably already got the guest lineup already taken care of for your event.
You'll be surprised. No.
Wow.
No. I have few ideas, but
it's gonna suck. He's all lazy now that he's.
No, I had few ideas, but I think, well, actually, believe it or not, that the last year's event, we finalized it around February, March, something like that. Usually it's about 8 months, 9 months, something like that. But we already started working on it, started working on the list of potential guests. And I would like to do slightly different approach this time, like to have more athletes from different sports. And see how it goes. But I should have probably an idea within the next month or two.
Got to get Sam and Stu together.
Stu, I'm pretty sure is going to make it. Stu is actually coming to Apollon, I think, in May, just before the New York Pro. He's going to be there for about a week.
Oh, nice.
So he's going to be there for sure. We actually just talked a couple of days ago. So we're going to try to figure out like different things that we're going to do in terms of content and stuff like that. But he's been great. I mean, I can't say anything negative at all. He's been a team player. He's constantly on the phone with us. He's always in touch. I mean, really good guy and very, very entertaining. Has a great sense of humor. good representative of the brand. And I think it's after Branch, I think that this is like a completely different approach because this is a young, a hot prospect, and I know he's planning to do a lot of shows this year. I don't know if he signed or about to sign. I think he signed with Gasp already, so I think he's with Gasp now too. So he's going to try to do a couple of European shows as well. So I think 2 or 3 in America, and then he's trying to do a couple of Europeans as well. So he wants to be very active this year.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I'd love his content. Him and I talked a little bit behind the scenes. Seems like a really nice, humble, down earth guy. No ego whatsoever.
Well, I think Lucas actually talked to him about it, that he's going to do the final scoop.
If Shane won't make it.
Yeah, he's cool. I like him a lot. Great guy.
Yeah, Shane's cool. Shane's cool.
I love New Zealand.
You should make the trip one time. Was it like a day and a half to get here?
To you? To your place?
Yeah. Yeah. You'd have to fly.
Yeah. I want to see the gold thing for sure, man.
It's not that nice. I mean, it's all right. I guess I've lived here with it too long. I would have got a golden toilet, but Nikki said no. So yeah, it is what it is.
Maybe till that time you will have a gold toilet and maybe a gold Honda or something like that.
I want to get a gold gate. Right now. No, I have like a fence and I want to get a gate, like an automatic gate, and I wanted a gold. See? And I haven't been able to figure it out.
That's the life goals post Arnold.
I mean, it's not that it's expensive. It's that I can't find anyone who will do it. Surprisingly, no one wants to make me a gold gate. Apparently, it's a weird thing.
Hey, speaking of, congrats on being on the news.
Oh, my Christmas lights.
Oh, go ahead and share.
Bro, did you see? I was very proud of this moment. I
was amazed.
December 5th. Yeah, we all live like 3 years ago when I moved into my house. Like we set up some Christmas lights. It was all good, and then the guy across the road from us puts them up, and then someone else puts them up, and then the next year we're like, oh, well, we got to juice it up, right? This is bodybuilding. We got to go bigger every year. This is what we do. So I got more, and then they all got more, and so this year I was like, damn, I gotta fucking put the hammer down. I gotta build a Christmas tree, buy it like a giant Santa. Yeah. So this year, I think we were home early, so I set it all up. And then like the guy across the road, he had built these giant nutcrackers by himself, put them on his fence. I was like, shit. And then little do you know, like before we knew it, you could see our street lit up from a distance. And I was like, oh shit, this is pretty big. And then there was this dude late at night. He had like a tripod and he was taking some photos. And I was like, oh, it's nice, but I don't know if it's that nice, bro. What are you doing? Like these are. And then the guy across the road told me, he's like, bro, he's from the newspaper. He's gone around and found the 10 to 15 of the best Christmas lights in Auckland. And I was like, oh shit, you serious? And then a few days later, we were on the newspaper and the website. I was like, damn.
Is that a Shane Smith photography? Is that it?
No. Hold on. I should be able to find. I don't share many things. It is beautiful. It's probably not that nice, but it's close.
It was
glamorous. I'm trying to think of where Here we go.
Are you trying to be Clark Griswold? You know who Clark Griswold is?
The thing is I said to Nikki, I was like, when did we become these people? How did I become this? When did my life become Christmas lights?
Post 30, man. Post 30.
Yeah, I think so. And I said to her, I was like, a kid, you know, we just cared too much, and then it's just gotten out of hand, right? Like lifting, like supplements. I'm not going to take it that serious. Then you're taking a pre-workout, then you're taking a high-stim pre-workout, you're taking some creatine, and now your cupboard looks like Lucas's back wall. It's ridiculous. It just happens.
Addict.
I don't know if you're going to be able to visit to this link because New Zealand probably doesn't want your business. But
No, I
I thought
see.
we were all right. We were all right. I thought we achieved pretty good.
Looks pretty cool.
We're the one with a giant Santa on the balcony.
New Zealand Herald.
Yeah, man. What's up?
Bro, that's crazy.
I was
So
like,
you're gonna try to beat it this year? What next? You gonna try to beat it next year?
oh, dude, plans are in motion. Like Robert and his seminar, I plan on having no piece of my house uncovered by LED lights. Okay,
Hey, bro, you got a challenge now. You need to come up with something.
Lucas will see my house from Poland.
Oh yeah, man. That's what I wrote you, man, on the IG.
I had a snow machine as well, so that when people walked up to the house, they turned on and got covered in snow.
Seriously?
It may not be magical to you guys, but we don't get snow, so it's a big deal.
No. I remember.
hold on.
I remember it was like last winter or 2 years back. I was recording my
Shane,
vision, for Ava.
Oh, there you go. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay, hold on.
Oh no, wait. I think it's a gallery. Go up. There you go. You need to swipe. No, that's nice. That's not me. You'll see him.
All right, hold on.
I think that is a beautiful one. Some of these make me. There you go. There I am.
That's the one.
That's me.
Wow, kudos to you, brother.
No, not that one. Where's it gone?
Oh, never mind. All right, hold on.
It's the one with the big fat Santa Claus. No, that's my neighbor. Go. Yeah, it's coming up. They're coming up. They changed the order? You went past it. You skipped me.
It was loading. Either way.
Yeah, maybe it took too long because the density of the lights was just too much for the camera.
All right, we tried.
It was we had people come by, take photos, come inside and get selfies with kids and stuff like that. It's all right. Next year, be even bigger.
All righty.
If I don't make the news next year, I'll be disappointed.
So, Robert, do you want to share with us? You had another killer year last year. I know you shared. What were your final drops and numbers and everything else for 23?
54 releases. So about, I think, 7 more than the previous year. I think 7. No, not 7. 12. 12 more than last year. But it was a very, very tricky. I mean, if we're talking about pure releases, then yeah, 12 more releases. In terms of, I think, diversity, definitely had more diversity this year. Because the year before, the only thing that we've done that was kind of different was the barbecue sauce. And that was the only thing that was like really, really different because the health line we already had. I think we expanded a lot more on a health line this year. And this year, I think, I took Lucas's advice with the cream of rice, with hot rice. I think that one definitely was way different. And, obviously vegan protein and the sharp coffee. So kind of went in different directions. And I think that I like this year a lot. Well, obviously, I think this year is a lot more powerful than last year. And it showed. But the main thing that I'm proud of is the fact that the brand keeps growing. That was a bit of because to be honest with you, I don't know if Lucas can support this because I don't know like how Europe is, if it's exactly the same as it was in the United States. And I know Lucas and I discussed this because I was a little bit worried. Lucas, when did I call you? I think around August or something like that, where we discussed and I told you that things are kind of slow. And you told me that, this is this time of the year and the economy and stuff like that. We had that conversation. So the beginning of the year absolutely exploded. I mean, 2023 just started off with a bang. And then somewhere in the middle of the year, it was like a downtime. And that kind of worried me a little bit, like maybe something is off because the releases were there, everything was there, but it was a bit of a slow year and was like a kind of a dip. And then pretty much, I think around September when things started to kind of like really go up. And then the last 3 months, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's just, we far suppressed anything that was in 2022. And I like the international presence more, and I like the direction of the company. And in being totally honest, I think that the fact that we parted ways, and there was a lot of speculation, a lot of chatter of whether we fired Branch or Branch walked away or whatnot. It was none of that. It just ran its course. He had a opportunity, and he took that opportunity, and we have great relationship. But at the same time, almost at the same time, Stu happened. And even though Stu is not a legend, or doesn't have any significant, he doesn't have any wins in pro bodybuilding, but he only competed twice as a pro bodybuilder and already made a lot of noise. And he placed top 5 in both competitions. And in New York Pro, he placed second. I think that's kind of gave us a different push. But Body of K, that was the one that I was very, very nervous about. That one, I knew that we're going in a completely different territory, and that was a little tricky, releasing all 3 products at once, and coming at the end of the year. But the way things are going, I couldn't be more proud of it. Fuck Mediocre obviously made a lot of noise. That one, I remember. It made me nervous just because of the name. I didn't know how it's going to be perceived, but no,
It's
nothing.
you.
It's that idea I
It's
had
around.
for before even Triumph, to do something like that. The formula that I would like, not to go and like just do trademarks and kind of showing off and go into whole dick measurement competition. I just wanted to do a cool pre-workout that would be just synonymous to the word cool. And I think Fuck Mediocre is exactly that. And I didn't expect that it's going to be sold out that quickly. I actually thought that it's going to be sold out within a week. I had that in mind. But considering we just released Assassin 6.5 again, and then Bare Knuckle, I didn't. It was like, will the customers tell us, okay, fuck off, enough is enough? No, I mean, it didn't happen. They jumped on it, and of course, I could go on and on and on, but the collaboration with the French chef, that was a big one.
Yeah.
To see that on Times Square, and that was big because I was sick and tired of everybody trying to copy Ghost, because do collaboration with them. I mean, it's huge what they done. I'm not taking anything away. We're just, I wish, and we talked about this in our group chat, I wish that brands would stick to being themselves, and seeing, and I know Lucas is getting pissed about this subject all the time when he sees that brands are copying each other. It's so fucking ridiculous. It's just beyond ridiculous, because the thing is, we all can see that it's happening, and I don't get it. Like some of the brands that I've seen were in conversation, oh, they've done so much this year, and you look at it like, you haven't done shit. All you did was just basically either the same shit or you copied somebody else, and there is very, very little originality or risk. Don't get me wrong, because it's going to come off as if I'm bragging, but I'm mostly like just proud of what we achieved, because for a small brand to achieve what we've done this year and to suppress previous year by far, of course I'm very proud. But don't get me wrong, we had a few, not misses, but not everything was like, whoa, incredible. Vegan protein is a challenge. It's a challenge because it's not very appalling product. On the other hand, Sharp Coffee was not much of a challenge because it's still a strong caffeine-based product with nootropics. But vegan to come from us, that needed a little bit more of a push. Still, I think we're still learning about the brand, and that's the reason why very often I'll ask for Shane's advice or Lucas's advice, or somebody who's been, or Patrick from Aries Nutrition, because he has a retail store. I'm not shy about it. I'm proud of the fact that I don't have a stick up my ass where I think that I'm the best and I know everything better than anyone else. I ask questions and I'm cool with it. I don't have a problem with it. So sometimes I need a little bit of I have the balls to take a risk, but I still need advice and guidance and a second opinion sometimes, which I don't feel like it's beneath me to ask for an opinion or advice, because we're still learning. And sometimes it's very, very unpredictable as to how things will pan out. But yeah, I mean, extremely strong year, and actually a very strong beginning of the year. I think the first week is already more accounts, very strong sales. Fuck media. You know what? One thing that I will say, because we had a marketing meeting yesterday, and probably the thing I'm proud of the most, and I think that you guys can probably have an explanation as to why it happened. I mean, I know why it happened, but I think for me personally, it's cool. A couple of years ago, maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago, we released one version of Assassin. And if you went and saw all the orders that we had, lined up with all the orders, even though considering we had other SKUs, all you would see the orders for Assassin, 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 Assassin. Like, people were not buying that much from us of anything else. And that made me think of Shane's statement that I already repeated many times when he said it's a pre-workout brand. It was a fucking pre-workout brand. Now there is no doubt about it. I clearly remember it, and you will understand why I'm saying it. There were like fucking shitload of orders covered. And on each order, there was a container of Assassin, sometimes 2 Assassins, sometimes 3 Assassins, but it was more than 90% Assassin, nothing else. So now when we released Fuck Mediocre, everybody was sick. I guess it's that time of the year. So I myself went and I was helping Maria pack the orders. And I said that yesterday during marketing meeting, and each order, almost every order, had Fuck Mediocre. But along with Fuck Mediocre, there were always a couple of other products. Always. Whether it's a fish oil or protein or vegan protein or case line. And that made me probably the happiest person in a long time to see that. The evolution of upon that it's no longer just a pre-workout brand. Because to see that difference, sometimes we go in life and, we just go with motion and we don't notice little things. And I immediately remembered, holy shit, you know what? There was only Assassin. There was nothing but Assassin or Hooligan. But in that case, I remember that day. It was only Assassin because the containers were yellow and it was the whole fucking thing was covered in yellow containers. There was no other product. People were not buying anything. And I remember retailers would place an order from us and we would have to ask them, would you like this? Would you like that? No, I'm good. Just send me Assassin. They wanted that and nothing else. And, so that makes a difference.
Robert, as a brand owner, what makes you decide what's going to be a limited edition versus what's going to be a staple in the lineup?
So, good question. Carolina runs the brand in terms of marketing, sales, and whatnot. So she's responsible for all that, and she's in charge. But when it comes to production, when it comes to products, yes, it's me. And my personal decision based is like, for example, Fuck Mediocre, right? Or Bloody Hooligan. It's very expensive product. It's extremely expensive product to make. This is not your mainstream where you're going to be selling. Like, for example, we released Fuck Mediocre and we released Bare Knuckle pretty much at the same time. There was a difference of 2 or 3 days. But Bare Knuckle is, although expensive to make, this is our staple product. It's a non-stim pre-workout. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit higher in price than your conventional product or mainstream product. But there is a huge market for it and people want it all the time. Fuck Mediocre is not your average pre-workout or Bloody Hooligan. It's a combination of 2 products. So from a pure marketing, from a pure business perspective, you have 2 products in one. I mean, if Bloody Hooligan costs, I don't know, about $50, $60 and Hooligan costs about the same, buying 2 products is going to cost you $110 or $120, right? Bloody Hooligan, I'm not a greedy person. So I'm not going to sell it for $110 or $120. It's just not going to happen. And I believe we sold it for $70, which is, if you think it's a huge saving, but it's still $70. It's not a cheap product. So something like that, the fans of the brand and the fans of those products, they get to save, but they also get to get something cool, like really, really cool. If we were to sell only Bloody Hooligan, we would probably kill the sales of Hooligan and Bloody Hell. I mean, that's just who the fuck needs those two products when you can save? But you're not going to be able to sell consistently nonstop. It's just not possible. It is an expensive product. So doing something cool like that, and breaking news, I guess, but Bloody Hooligan we will release one more time in the next few months. But again, it's going to be just a limited release because we only had it for fucking 4 hours. It was gone. So there is obviously a huge demand, and it's a business, so we will fulfill that demand, but also for a limited time. Because if you have Bloody Hooligan and you have Double Impact and you have Time Cop, what is the point of having Assassin and Hooligan and charge premium price? It's not even premium. It's more than premium. It's expensive to make. We talking almost double the cost of those two products. So that's the reason for it to be limited. I mean, it makes sense. Plus, it's cool.
Do you feel this year you were more mentally stimulated or mentally challenged, where you've got multiple segments now? Because you've got the pollen supplements, you've got I'll call it the health line, the health segment. You have Kay's line, and obviously dealing into the food now on the hot rice. I mean, what was your mindset this year?
Very relaxed. I mean,
Okay.
This was the most relaxed I've been in a very, very long time, because I think that previously it was 2022 was a mess. It was all over the place. It was very,
I
very
was
tough.
calling me every night.
Yeah, it was it was very, very tough, very tough. And one of the criticisms that I got from the team itself, and even from Lucas as well, is there was no structure. There was no structure. Just like things were flying all over the place. I mean, I knew about Fuck Mediocre. I mean, Shane knows this. Shane was here, I think, in April or something like that last year, March or April. I already knew about Fuck Mediocre being released on December 31st. I was so organized and so planned that I had a list of releases, and I pretty much, for most part, stuck to it to a T. Where, yeah, I stuck to it to a T, and
Doesn't work for me.
nah, but it's never gonna work for you because you don't like Apple.
Yeah, 100%.
It actually works on a phone too.
I'll sacrifice the branding.
I just wish they would add more to it. But yeah, I was very, very organized this year, so it was a lot easier to manage. Even though it was a lot of releases, there was one product that I will tell you later that was not released. That was planned to be released, but unfortunately, the labels were ready, everything was ready to go, but the very last minute where we tried, it clumped pretty badly. So we had to kind of put it on a shelf and wait to see if we can resolve the problem. But that's pretty much it. Other than that, everything was done pretty much on time and no issues whatsoever.
Speaking of brands, Shane, when is the brand of the year going to be announced? I had to ask.
I mean, I knew the segue was coming. Let me see. 4 days, probably on Wednesday.
Okay. Are you guaranteeing that? 'Cause people are going to say, Shane, I'm on your website Wednesday. I can't find it.
I'll put it up at like midnight so you can wait around the whole fucking day.
Yeah, but midnight your time or midnight whose time?
Bingo.
Keep guessing.
Yeah. It'll be Wednesday. I mean, to be honest, this is the first year we've had 2 nominees as well. Like previously, it's always been like 3, 4, 5.
Yeah,
So like
it's
this
more
is
normally, right.
So I think maybe 2016 would have been the last time I did more than I stopped giving like a second, third, fourth, fifth. So I think this would also be the first time that we'll have like a runner-up, which is like not a big deal, but like usually it was always for 4 brands. I think last year it was 3 or 4 or something. But yeah, 2 in the running this year. It's exciting. I'll announce it, then I'll turn my phone off.
You doing a trophy, a ring, a belt? What are you doing this year? A crown?
No, it's the trophies. Same thing. Just a big fuck off trophy. That's what I do every time. Just that was Took me a while to find these guys who make these big fuck off trophies. It's not easy to find.
Okay.
It was like a golfing
You should
company
do
or
a
something.
vase. You should do a vase like
Yeah, like
Arnold.
Arnold Classic Vase.
I'm currently trying to do the trophy for the Arnold Expo Awards.
Wow.
I'm trying to get a aluminum cut frame of Arnold on like a tub or something. I'm trying to do something different, just so like there's only 5 categories, and they'll be able to. It has to be small as well, because there's 5 of them. But they'll be giving out to people at the show who win those awards. But yeah, the Brand of the Year trophy is always just a big fuck off trophy. I think we gave those out.
I actually have a question, because I know, like, I don't want to get into the winners and stuff like that. It's not about that, especially now, 3 days before that. But speaking of Brand of the Year trophy, you said it was very difficult to find somebody who makes those trophies, right?
Yeah.
But did you have the same company always, or did you have to switch or something like that? Because I don't know.
I'm sure they're not listening, but I don't like the one that I'm using. Like that's such a pain.
Service perspective.
Yeah, like they only take payment over the phone, so I can't pay for it online. And every time we pay for a proof, so we get to see what it's going to look like before it's engraved, they just it's like, oh, here's the tracking number. I was like, where the hell is my proof? What the shit? And then we're like, oh, next year we'll do it better. Like it's a yearly thing, so it's like, you got to wait a year to find out if they actually.
Are they big company?
I don't think so. I don't even know their name. Nikki handles it, but she's just like, these guys suck dick. So I was like, I'm definitely not gonna name them now.
Thanks to our sponsor.
I mean, like I said, they do really cool trophies though. Their trophies are damn good. It's just their handling of the process seems very like archaic, like having to take the credit card over the phone, shipping it out without providing the proof. Like I'm just like, guys, these are 2 of the 3 steps that is required to order this trophy, and you are skipping them. Like it is what it is. It's so long as they get a big ass trophy, and the trophy is worth it because it is huge, and that's all that matters.
When we were doing bodybuilding shows, when we were promoting them, so we had to get like a bunch of trophies, obviously, and I mean, I was co-promoting it with somebody else who was very, very experienced in it, and he just got older, and he asked me to help him out. So basically, I was doing all the dirty work, so to speak, promoting it and stuff like that. But I mean, again, he was very experienced, so he already had people that he was ordering the bodybuilding trophies from, and they were just like wooden statues, and that's it. I remember the cost. We're talking on the last one we did was 2009. I think there was per trophy was like $50 or something like that. They were not bad, but again, I had I mean, me, if it was up to me, I would try to get something cool and something great. And this was just a standard shit for $50. But there was another another promotion, which was also local in New Jersey. And they had a show. I actually remember the name. It was called Excalibur, NPC Excalibur show. And they
was that the sword?
Yes.
Sword.
I remember that one.
Yeah, that was a New Jersey, and the show itself, in terms of a prestige or anything like that, it wasn't bigger than our show, because our show was
sword.
Yeah,
bro, just think about it. Would you like to get a sword or like a fucking vase?
Well, no, I mean, the thing is that the show that we promoted was New Jersey State Championship. So you would think about it that's the biggest show in New Jersey. And the guy who was promoting it at the time was the chairman. So he was in charge. He was a head judge, and he was the chairman of NPC New Jersey. And like I said, he passed away, but he was at that time, I was judging NPC shows with him, and I just became the owner of Apollo Gym. So he offered me, like, I mean, why don't you co-promote it with me? And he was like pushing 70 or something like that. We'll promote it together. But it was still his show. I was just a co-promoter. And so he had all the connections and stuff like that. But it was killing me, being the competitor that I am. And I like to do things right. And if I win, I want to make sure that I win right. And for me, this is the New Jersey Championship. This is the biggest event in the state, so it has to have the best trophy. But our trophies were shit. And this guy who had Excalibur show, which was a tiny little show, he had a big ass sword, and I was so jealous. I was like, "Fuck, that sword is nice." The overall winner would get a sword, and it wasn't a tiny little sword. It was a big ass fucking sword. I mean, it was probably like 5 feet, maybe 4 or 5 feet tall. It was big and heavy. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. And every year he would give out those swords. I don't remember the rest of his trophies because don't forget, typically NPC level, top five in each category get a trophy. So I don't remember what the other trophies he had, but I assume they were still better than ours. But the sword was a standout. So every time the overall winner, I think some of the people wanted to do his shows just because of the sword.
I mean, 100%.
Yeah.
I want a fucking sword. That's why we got that Super Bowl ring for the Protein Wars.
Oh yeah.
That one's,
I remember.
Yeah, by the way,
badass.
did Rice already got the ring?
The problem with that ring is it takes 16 weeks to make.
Oh,
So like I have to have the design, and every year I'm like, oh shit, I'm too slow. So he's probably gonna get it this month, maybe. But like, it's one of a kind, so they don't do any more than one. And they actually sit there going like put in the fucking gems in and all that shit. So it takes a while.
What was the reception from them? Were they
I mean,
happy, surprised?
He loves it. He's literally gonna about to do the 3 Super Bowl rings. Like, and I mean, he's the first 3-time winner. I mean, yeah, I would love to do a Super Bowl ring for other ones, but I don't know. I don't want to be like one trick pony type thing. That's why we make sure the trophy is different for each thing.
Okay.
Big ass cup, the can for the Clash of the Cans, and then the champion ring.
Don't expect them to get back to you and say thank you or anything. Don't worry about it.
No, he was happy. He was very excited.
Okay. All right.
Showing me love, right?
Who was runner-up? Muscle Tech, right?
Yeah, it was Muscle Tech and Rise in the final. Yeah.
I don't know if you can disclose this or not. I'm just interested. Was the gap like quite large between the first and second place?
I mean, in the past, like a lot of these guys, they tend to sort of just put a mammoth amount of effort into like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Ghost did it when they won. Rise does it. Sally called the first time they won back in the first Protein Wars. That's what they did. They were like, "Oh, we're losing," and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they just got all the influencers to vote. Ghost implied the same trick, same kind of thing, like to just get everyone to vote in the last 3 days, and then Rise does the same, as opposed to promoting throughout the week. But the gap was, I don't know, it wasn't that bad, to be honest. It was relatively close. Going into the second to last day was pretty close, and they extended their lead on the Sunday.
Was there at any time where Muscle Tech was leading?
Yeah, first 4 days.
How did they know though? Because I think Scott Welch or Muscle Tech posted, "Hey guys, you have a healthy lead. Keep voting." But how did he know?
Because every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, we share who's in front.
Okay.
And like I may say like, "Oh, hey, they're ahead by a good amount. Oh, they're getting their ass whipped." I don't say numbers because in the past I've been like, "Oh, you're losing by 1,000." Surprisingly, 1,000 votes will fly in from India or some shit like that. And I'll be like, "Oh wow, wonder why the hell this is happening." So if you don't say the number, and then someone tries to cheat and pays for votes, it seems way more obvious because they probably put in some ridiculous number like 10,000 or something like that. So it's much easier to spot people if you don't give any kind of indication as to how much they're losing by. So some people are like, some people ask like, "Can we see the results? Can we see this?" And I'm like, no, because then you're going to be upset when someone cheats and be like, "Oh my gosh, how on earth did they come back from all of this?" I was like, "Fuck it, I'm just going to tell you, eat shit, and we'll just leave it as it is."
Do you get hate mail or anything? People will, obviously the losing brand blowing you up.
I can tell you this. No, see on the comments, I don't get hate mail, but comments people get upset. Obviously, it's a fan contest. If there isn't people saying that they shouldn't have won or they should have lost, now to me that's a reflection that like it was done right. That you felt so passionate about it that you felt you were in the race, that you felt there was a fair contest, that you were that passionate, and I created something that made you think or had you feeling so invested that you lost, and like you actually lost. Like if it was a nobody gives a shit contest, they'd be like, oh, but they put the comment, be like, oh my god, they shouldn't have won, because they felt that the competition was done strong enough. But I've never once had any mail from any person saying like you were paid off or you were like, oh my god, you're such an asshole, I'm gonna hunt you, blah blah blah. The only time I ever get kind of negative stuff via text is like something like a brand, but like it is what it is. Like these like Robert, these people are incredibly passionate. They work on this shit 8 to 12 hours a day. They don't message me saying like, how did we lose? I'm so upset. This sucks ass. This is like, show me the scores. Like I would be disappointed. To me, that just shows that these guys really are invested in their brands. They're not pissing around. They actually do care about the stuff.
Okay.
From my perspective, it's good to see when the brands are, you know, sharing the stories, and they're like putting the time and effort also to spread the word about the protein wars or the class de cans, you know, when they are participating in these contests, you know, and they're like trying their best, you know, to gain attention and so on. It's also a good thing. Plus, you know, you can also see in comments the brand owners, they are congratulating to a winner, which is also good to see, you know. I also saw like plenty of times when someone won and Robic send a comment like, congratulations, you own this year.
But you know what, the interesting thing, and it's actually very, very cool. I have an issue with the fact that, for example, you know, a protein wars, right? It goes by vote, so it's basically a popularity contest, and I don't say you can cheat. I mean, obviously you can cheat, but the thing is that how many people you get to vote. You know, you encouraging people to vote. So in essence, it is slight cheating, because it's not just, oh, I really like this protein powder. I actually had this one, and this one, and this one is my favorite. You know, most of the time they will vote for something and they're not going to vote for the other one, but they didn't even try the other one. They don't even know what it tastes like. So sometimes if the company is big and they have employees, and those employees have a lot of family members, and those family members have a lot of friends, at the end, and I'm not saying anything because I actually tried rice protein, and you know, I liked it. I'm gonna say that. So you know, I don't want anyone to take it the wrong way, but arguably speaking, a shitty protein can also win. A shitty tasting protein can actually win. It's very, very possible. So, but at the end of the day, I mean, that's just the way it is. There's nothing you can do. It goes by vote, so it goes by vote.
Robbie,
yeah.
Remember our conversation when you asked me about the flavors that are popular in Europe and in US.
Yeah.
I told you straight away, European guys don't like sweet flavors at all.
Yeah.
It's
different.
Watery shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. When someone from US comes to Europe and he tries the local protein, he's like, what the fuck is this? You know, it doesn't.
It's completely different.
It's not sweet at all, you know, and that's
it's not thick. It's meant to taste like a milkshake. It's meant to make me feel like I'm drinking 1,000 calories.
People here don't use any thickeners or anything like that. They are very like minimalistic when it comes to like additional things, you know. Plus, you know, people are like picky nowadays, so that's also like from consumer perspective.
I feel like UK is a little bit. It's in between America and Europe a bit. UK
ain't part of Europe anymore. They Brexit this shit.
So. Hey. They are still within the European continent. They're just not within the European Union.
Listen, to me, I live in America, and I'm sorry, but you know, when it comes to, I'm not going to say about flavors of protein or anything like that, but you know, let's talk about protein bars. I'm sorry, Bear Bells.
Oh, yeah.
That's, you know, all American brands, and when I say it, they get pissed with me. and they don't even come close. We're not even talking close. They're not close. It's just a whole different level. So
it hasn't even got closer. It's gotten further apart.
It's getting further. I mean, to a point where like sometimes I'll try something, because every time I go to Patrick's store, I will try like a protein bar or something like that. And after Barbells, it's just none of them I like literally none of them. Barbells is the only protein bar right now that I know easy. You can get it at some of the supermarkets actually here now, and are so far ahead that I have zero interest in anything American, because they're just not good in my opinion. It's not close. But when it comes to winning trophies and brand of the year and stuff like that, I can tell you that I definitely remember last year only one brand, actually two. I'm lying. Two brands reached out to me, owners, and congratulated us. Only two. That's it.
Who are they?
Nutrabio and Morphogen.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, Nutrabio and Morphogen. Those are the only two. Yeah. I mean, the thing is that even if you're not nominated, like for example, there are years, for example, where let's say like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when I know we were not nominated, I distinctly remember sending congratulations, because I know that I don't belong in there. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's just a simple gesture and just being polite and, congratulating somebody. And people work their asses off. They work completely their asses off. But to me, it's mostly like when you don't win, like, I'm not saying you close like second or third or something like that, but when you don't deserve to be nominated, or where you obviously lost to somebody better, in my opinion, you just know, if you come and you being rational and you know that you didn't. I mean, it's just extend something, say something nice. Say something nice. It just makes it so much. You're just showing class, because like winning Oscar or winning Golden Globe, that is tomorrow. That is very, very subjective. That is very clearly subjective. Something. It's subjective. You have a bunch of people, and when it comes to movies, you might like something and I might not. Like, it's extremely subjective. And I think that at that point, you can't really be mad. But when it's something, somebody won a World Cup, or somebody won a boxing match where the best man wins, then you clearly know. You clearly know. So, I mean, that's the main difference, where people are very, very genuine. And in this industry and many other industries, people are not very genuine. And I was, when Rise won, I had a feeling they're going to win. I had a feeling they're going to win, because not because they necessarily better than MuscleTech, but they definitely have that very strong young crowd following.
Oh, yeah.
They very, very present on social media, and they just a cool, trendy brand. So to me, I'm actually surprised when Shane said that MuscleTech had a lead. I'm totally surprised, because I thought Rice is going to sweep it easily.
Rice has like a direct connection. That's the thing. Like, I said this to a lot of people. I'm like, he's online first. He was like, anytime you sell to someone online, you have their email, phone number, address, but you're not going to use kind of thing. But like, you have that direct connection. MuscleTech was from obviously way, way back. It's got this huge fan base of fans that know of it and use it, but MuscleTech may not know of them by name or by email. Like Optimum, BSN, there's these legacy brands that built this fan base without that communication. Rise was built in that era where every fan that's probably bought from them, they have them on an email list. My Protein's no different. They had like 10 million customers on their email list. That was like a few years ago. That's 10 million people. And they've only served, they do a few things now out and about, but they serve directly communication online. And so Rise has probably this, I don't even know, like an ungodly large list of consumers where it's like, hey, I can just hit you up. Like, I can text you or email you. And at that power that they've built for all these years, like with that approach, he's probably just blasting the email, blasting the text, blasting whatever. And it's a lot of these new age brands do well. That seems to be why. And MuscleTech's obviously a nice bit of both. It's got a very strong presence and direct communication with brands, consumers, but then it also has that legacy following where if you just got 50 average people, they would probably all vote for MuscleTech because they all know of MuscleTech or Optimum or stuff like that. So yeah, it's a battle of ages. It's fun. That's all I really care about.
And it's actually pretty incredible, speaking of Optimum Nutrition, for example, because I know Lucas said some crazy fucking numbers 2 days ago, something like that, how popular they are. And it's interesting because that's a legacy brand. That's a legacy brand. And despite being legacy, not exactly a cool, modern, TikTok age kind of a brand, they're still killing it, which is astonishing.
Ripping it apart.
Which is
insane.
Astonishing. Absolutely astonishing. Despite
I asked so many people that question.
Sometimes I feel like they go like, well, fuck you, and fuck you. We're just doing it our way, and we're still beating your ass. Because
I asked last year, I went around and I asked a lot of people, why is Optimum Gold Standard the best-selling protein? So no one had the same answer. Everyone had a different answer, and all of them could have been correct. And I asked someone who used to work at Glanbia, and I said to him, and he didn't really have an answer either. And I said, I gather that from the outside, we all think they're these genius guys doing this, this, and this. And it's like, but I feel that they're just sort of like, hey man, last year double chocolate sold like crazy. How about we sell double chocolate twice as much for the next 2 years? That's the plan. And they're like, okay, how about vanilla? How about we tweak it 0.5%? And like he was telling me, he's like, yeah. He's like, these small things are a huge fucking deal there. They don't want to like, they made it, from what I heard or from what I was being told, they don't make drastic changes like come out with a chocolate Bavarian flavor or anything like that. Because why change what apparently seems unbreakable at this point? So like, and you say that you can't really, blame them for that. They have not made any mistakes. They're still holding the trophy for the best protein, no matter where the hell you go in the world. It's ridiculous.
Well, you know what? Sometimes I think that, because a lot of times, like I hear like conversations between brands, and obviously, we have marketing meetings and sometimes, obviously forced to do research, and you hear like, you gotta go in with the times. The times have changed. This have changed. That has changed. And I totally get it. Because, I see, for example, and it's very interesting because it's the same industry, but that shit does not apply to pre-workouts. Pre-workouts, you have to like constantly be like, we had a conversation, we had a marketing meeting, and Lena goes like, I'm going to take your head off. Why the fuck are you changing hooligan formula? I was like, why? Because that was done 2 years ago and things have evolved, and, we're pollen and we have to do it. 2 years is a good mark. Hooligan has to change, and I already have that in present. We're going to release it. She didn't get it. And I totally get it that she doesn't get it. Like, totally get it. Because if you take the very same fucking industry, the very same fucking thing, Optimum Nutrition has protein that, I'm not going to say it tastes bad, but it does not taste great. It tastes okay. I will give it an okay. There is nothing special about it.
I think it's good. Give it like a 7.
Yeah, I think it's average 6, 7.
Mediocre.
7.5. Mediocre. Yeah, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
Mediocre is good.
It's good. it's not
It's
the
good.
cheapest. It's not the cheapest on the market. It's not the best on the market. It's not the worst on the market. You would think that it would be competitive with everything else. But as far as I know, there are not like hot influencers. There is no Sam Sulek attached to it or anything like that.
No Steve Cook like it used to be.
Yeah, there is no cool look to it. There is no cool label to it. If you go into a supplement store, especially in the United States, very good chance you're not even going to see it in store.
If you will take a look at the Optimum Gold Standard label, like from 10 years back up to now,
It's the same.
they may only like some small tweaks, and that's basically it.
I reckon regulation changes would be
Yeah.
But
Yes, due to regulations and so on, and something like that,
Yeah, but it's about the same.
Hologram, something like that. But besides
nothing
that,
cool about it, nothing great about it. But the thing is that sometimes when we have something that we cannot explain and we're looking for explanation, and we go and we say, well, it is what it is. Well, I think this is exactly that case. It is what it is.
It's the same with Red Bull. So the only thing I could closely
it's funny.
The only thing I could think of is Red Bull.
It's funny because Red Bull people came to Apollon 2 days ago and gave away free fucking cans of Red Bull to a bunch of members. And, and Maria goes to me, why do you let them give it to people at the gym? I was like, nobody's going to buy it anyway here. This is not that type of crowd. We have Ghost energy drinks in the fridge. That's what they buy. She goes to me, so what's the point? I was like, do you know who is the #1 selling energy drink in the world? She looks at me, she goes, no. I was like,
Red Bull, man.
I said, well, Ghost is like 200 million plus a year. She goes, she was impressed. I was like, Red Bull is 5-6 times more.
More than that, I thought Red Bull was 20 billion. I thought they were up in that realm.
Like in billions,
I thought it was like 2 billion or 1.5.
No. Monster Ultra by itself does 2 billion a year.
I was like, it's the same fucking can, it's the same fucking taste.
Ridiculous.
But they don't even care about fucking Ghost. They don't even care about Monster. They don't care about anyone. Those fuckers, you won't see them probably at the gym, but they destroying everybody. And
then you go to Switzerland and there's nothing but fucking Red Bull. You go to like some countries in Europe and it's just non-existent. You go to some of those cheap countries like Indonesia, Thailand, India. You bet your ass there's a damn Red Bull there. Might not be sugar free, but it's there. It's within that country's price range.
Well, not only that, but don't forget that. I mean, I don't drink alcohol, but every fucking bar has Red Bull and vodka.
Bingo.
Every fucking bar. They don't have Red Bull, Ghost and vodka, and they never will. So the bottom line is that sometimes there's just things that you can.
To be fair, though, Dan is working on that. If you remember, he's working on that. He's doing because he's got exclusivity at those music events, and he's making. I thought it was a smaller 6-ounce can. I could be wrong. I know he does an 8, but he's doing a original energy drink flavor specifically for them.
I'm 100% sure that Ghost is going to continue to grow. I'm sure they're going to grow, they're going to expand, and I don't want to say never, but I don't see in foreseeable future that they're going to touch Red Bull.
Oh, no. Red Bull's like, what is it? It's like Red Bull and Monster that take like, I think ridiculous, like I don't know the exact percentage, but I know it's fucking high. I think Red Bull is 20 billion a year, something like that. And then Red Bull might be more than that, but Monster's in that realm. But keep in mind, Monster has like how many different brands under their belt? Burns, part of their family. They got those drinks out in Australia. They got drinks in South Africa. They got drinks in different brands and different things. So they're not just one brand. Red Bull is one goddamn drink.
You know what? I said this before, and I'll say it again. 2003, when Ronnie Coleman came at his biggest and fucking 287 pounds, and everybody was like, "What the fuck is that?" And I remember prejudging happened on Friday and the final on Saturday. And I remember Saturday in the morning we went to the expo, to the Olympia Expo, and I was next to Dexter. And people like to suck dick and they like to fucking compliment and throw out the meaningless fucking stupid comments. And somebody said, "Dexter, you got this year." And he started laughing his ass off. And he goes to me, "Did you fucking watch the show? Are you fucking blind?" He says, "We're competing for second place."
So, Robert, not to cut you off, so I just pulled it up here. So Red Bull, as of 2023, $7.3 billion. Second is Monster at $5.52 billion.
Take into account that this is US, I'm gathering.
US, yes, correct. So I just pulled US.
This is US only.
Yeah, so Shane's probably right. It's probably about 20 billion.
Yeah, but either way, so it's Red Bull, Monster, Celsius, Bang, and Rockstar, top 5.
The crazy thing is I reckon that Celsius, well, Bang shouldn't really, I don't know if they should be on the list, but Celsius and I don't think Celsius has even remotely the same international exposure that Monster and Red Bull have. So that that bar would be much further along
I think the
internationally.
one company that I saw was close to 1 billion. I could be wrong, but I think it was Rain.
Celsius. Celsius is up. Well, Rain is Monsters, so that's going to be in their numbers. Celsius, I would think, is close. Rockstar, I think, would be up there too. Bang is, but I mean, obviously that's now owned by Monster. So,
yeah,
but I mean, I would.
But look,
C4, I think, is getting up there too.
You combine Monster, Rain, and Rockstar. I think you said Rockstar is also owned by Monster. No, Bang. I'm sorry, Bang.
Yeah, Bang. Rockstar is Pepsi.
All of those are the top guys. They still don't add up to fucking Red Bull. They still don't add up to in numbers to Red Bull. So it just goes to show it is what it is. You know what? It's not. If we could fucking crack that mystery, it would be great, but it's impossible. Optimum's going to dominate and Red Bull's going to dominate, and there is nothing you can do. Just like Ronnie Coleman dominated in 2003 and everybody was fighting second place. Just one of those things. It's there. That's it.
Unless Green Cola can come out with an energy version, then we got some game.
So, guys, earlier we brought up the lovely Maria of the Apollon brand here, and Shane, she had a question for you directly. She said, was it easier to choose the winner this year than in the previous years? I guess brand of the year winner.
That's broad because some years it's very easy, and then some years it's not. So what year is she comparing it to?
Well, just in general, was it a quicker decision in the past, or did you have to put a little bit more idea into it this year?
I mean, back in 2017 or 16, it was a really easy decision. I mean, this took about as much thought as 2020. Is that right?
So what does it mean? A day, an hour? You just go, hey, Nikki.
Lot.
Or you just yell out, hey, Nikki, I got this brand and this brand. What do you like? And I mean,
oh, it's entirely. We don't come up with anything until like, yeah. What do we come up again? December. I start thinking about it. Put together a list. I go to Nikki. Maybe hit up Lucas. Go, hey, what do you think? Oh, and then we'll go back and forth. But yeah. Talk to Nikki. And then I'll sit there by myself, look up at the stars, and I'll pick a winner.
Put some lights on your house.
Yeah, put some lights on my house. It's in the back of my mind. And then usually, like before Christmas, after Christmas, order the trophy, and then dip a coin. This year would have been real easy because I got Gorilla Mind and Apollon, so I could put one on each side.
That's what I'm saying.
I have the Arnold coin.
See?
That's a cool one.
That's a cool one.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting that coin?
Yeah, so everyone exhibits in the section. I have a few leftovers, but yeah, sort of like a commemorative item.
I'm gonna get one.
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep on the side.
See?
So, guys, it's been a great 2 hours. Anything else as we wind down here? I know it's almost bedtime for Lucas. If not, we're past bedtime for Lucas.
Yeah, it's past time.
Well, it's worth it, right?
Yeah, it's worth it.
I don't know. I think that's it. When is the next one? Saturday?
I think we can agree at least the next couple of Saturdays at 2:00, hopefully.
If Shane is up.
Sorry, no, my daughter's just trying to grab something. She's trying not to knock over. Oh, mate.
Well, guys, it's always good catching up as we wind down. Anything else? Otherwise, we'll go on to our days here. Dinner for some, bedtime for others, and for others, just starting a day.
Getting the workout in.
Sean, just want to say thank you for hosting the show and having us back. You know, it's been fun, and I'm looking forward to this Frumpy ride with you guys again. It's cool to see the gang back. So yeah, let's make some noise.
Well, Lucas, in all fairness, you guys reached out to me, so I'm honored. I didn't put this together; you guys did. So I want to thank you for putting your trust in me, and as always, I appreciate our friendship to everybody.
We could do a special Arnold US episode and Arnold UK episode because 3 of us will be in one place at the Arnold Juice, and then the other 3 will be in one place at the UK.
Yeah. Well, you never say you never say never when it comes to me. Maybe, who knows? Maybe you will see my ass in the US for the Arnold.
Maybe. I mean, if you start walking now, you should be able to make it by the time it rolls around. I don't know how you're going to deal with the ocean.
I will have to go to Warsaw and then catch a flight to you guys.
Oh, I was just saying walk, because you can walk to France. I think it's probably closest. And you just hitch a ride on a boat to the UK. Then you got to figure out that other part that's a little bit further.
It's like 3 days of steps for you, Lucas, because you do what, 100 million steps a day?
That's nothing, man.
Yeah. That's nothing. Easy.
So, and also for anybody that's listening, for the next week here, we're doing a very fat discount for the listeners. Go to apollonutrition.com and at checkout, enter Final Scoop, all capitalized, with the number 20, and get 20% off your order. As always, we appreciate everybody listening and watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment what you liked, comment what you didn't like. I'll put everybody's Instagram handles in the comment below. Send us ideas. And as always, guys, thank you so much. What?
And don't forget.
Oh, hey,
subscribe to Stack 3D and listen to our fucking podcast.
If you want to.
Listen, make sure you accept the notifications so you constantly get spam. I mean, notifications of any updates from Shane.
No, it's spam. I'm going to spam the fuck out of everyone.
And as always, everybody, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you again next Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care, everybody.
Take care. Bye.
Take care.